So, what I learned from my Everesting. I learned that I think my number one thing that I learned from it was that whatever you do, the mind will always give up before the body. That is a big rule, basically, that the mind gives up before the body. So when I was cycling up that hill, and after about 10 hours, and your mind just goes, and you go crazy, and you just want to stop, your body's fine. Your body can go, you can keep going, but it's that mental barrier that you've got to push through, and you just got to push through that barrier, like push through it, and you'll come through the other side. I came through the other side, and then my body gave up. So obviously, your body will eventually give up, and you just got to kind of then, your mind's gone, your body's gone, and then you kind of just got to, like, I don't really know how you can describe it after that. It's a case of like, just got to use every inch of being sane. Like, instead of going crazy, you just got to think about the end. That's it. After your body and your mind goes, it's a case of scraping your brain for any motivation. That usually means stopping and having a break, and maybe having a sitting there and just thinking about sleep. But that's my number two thing I learnt was that what did I learnt that my body can go through a lot more than I thought. The body can go through a lot. I honestly thought that after this, I know that I can go even harder. Like, I push my body to the limit, I push through the limit, and I've now got, like, aiming for the next challenge. That's the one thing that another big thing that I learned. Another thing I learned was generally feeding wise, and eating, and just constantly eating. But then that's the thing that you're constantly learning. You're always changing the way the way that you fuel yourself, and the way you hydrate yourself, and things like that. You're always changing and looking for the next best thing. Regarding anybody that I would say that anybody that wants to do it in the future, do an Everesting challenge, I would highly recommend that you smash out more training. Like, I don't personally think I did enough distance training. I did 300 kilometers for this thing, for the Everesting, and I had no problem with the distance. I didn't look at the number and go, wow, that's a lot. I had no problem with that. It was the elevation and the fact that I was going up and down this hill. So I would highly recommend doing a couple of long distance training to get your body used to that long distance, but mainly it's the hills. You've got to absolutely smash out the hills. At least doing every climbing session or every training session you do, you need at least 1,000 meters of elevation, at least, to really train your body. And to be honest with you, I'd recommend doing a half Everesting or a quarter Everesting before you do this, or maybe a couple of quarter Everesting, just to be able to, because 30 laps for my quarter Everesting was actually just enough to really get to grips with what I really felt what it was going to be like. So I think doing that would be a really good idea. Just doing a practice session, get more practice on the hill that you're doing, get lots of training, but also vary your training. So don't just do it on the same hill, do it on some even tougher hills. So when you come to it, it's actually quite easy until you get to about 5,000 meters. I would also recommend picking a hill that has no more than 100 reps. If you can do it, if a hill has more than 100 reps, then you have to go for that. It's the hill that you want to go with and you feel comfortable with. But my hill, it was 125 laps, and I wish I've picked a hill that had less than 100 laps. So less than 100 laps just means that it might be a long distance, but at the end of the day, you'd have less than 100 to do, and you don't have 125, and you just but between that 80 and 100 stages, that's when it just completely, you just don't want to, you just go crazy. You're like, what the fuck am I doing? I've got 30 laps still to go. It's ridiculous. And you just can't comprehend it. More tips would probably be So we've done training, picking the hill, gearing. So I would damn right, like, try and make your bike as lightweight as possible. So take everything and any unnecessary things off. You only need one bottle cage. You only need lights front and back at night, so you can take them off when you're not using them. They don't weigh a lot, to be honest with you. The lighter the bike, the better. But in theory, it's the gearing. I did mine on a 34 cassette, and I had compact cranks on the front, which were 50 34. So I would probably recommend, definitely recommend at least a 32 cassette, and also I would probably go with some mountain bike cranks, just because it would be so much easier to go up the hill. You're okay, like, you think you're doing really well for about half of it until you get to halfway, and that's when you realise that going up the hill, even with the lowest gear that you have, even if you have lots of gears and like a huge range of gears, and like say like a 34 plus cassette, you get to that point and you realise it's not enough. You probably get that with a 40 cassette, but I would recommend is get a lowest gear possible available to you, and also I don't know how this is really how I would do it, but you don't need all the gears on your bike. You only need a couple on the back. So in theory, like, if you can take some of the gears off, that would make your bike even more lightweight, even better. That would be a really good idea. And regarding like Garmin's and stuff, I'm gonna do a review of this later on. Do a review of this later on. But it's you want a computer that can go a long time. I use the Lezine Enhanced Super GPS, and it lasted, like, I was cycling for about 21 hours and it had only used 50% battery. So this thing is bloody amazing. It's just amazing. Garmin's run out of battery too quickly, so I would highly recommend getting one of those or something similar. I think I looked at the Brighton, is it Bryant? And they're like 36-hour battery lives, but Garmin, well, I'm not a big fan of Garmin, to be honest, with the battery life, unless you have a battery pack, which you can do that. I think the Garmin Edge 810 does you can charge it while in use. But yeah, I would highly recommend, if you want to do an Everesting, you do it. I say I wouldn't do it again, but it's something you've got to do to really, you've got to really feel that you've done it, and that's what you got to feel that you've done it, and then you know what your body can do. But I'm going to stick to long distance cycling now. I'm just going to stick with long distance challenges and stuff like that, 24-hour challenges maybe. But other than that, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.